Take your mold over to the eye wash station. Do that, but let it sit for a little while before you run any water over it. That's all. Okay, I think we've just gone live. So good afternoon, audience. Okay, so time for you guys to get to your stations and get going. There is a little bit of logic on which station is best to do for each module. So look at the total times. Good afternoon, everybody. We are working on different plastics processing modules. We are working on basically getting familiar with how we can manufacture lots of standard products. We are going to, their students are doing a couple kinds of foam molding and a couple kinds, several kinds of thermoplastic type moldings methods, so injection, blow molding. They've got a little bit with thermosets with the compression molding. It's basically 4 groups of students working on 2 modules each. This is a 4-week rotation, so by the end of the 4 weeks they'll all have done 8 modules, and they'll have a pretty good handle on what they're going to need when they're to do as they design a product and make it later in the semester. So that'll be of their own design, and so they're learning kind of basic processes, how the temperatures and pressures and time and quantity all interact. Okay, so glasses back on with safety first always, and at this station, the students are getting ready to do some chemical, we'll be doing some chemical foam. They're not actually started yet. What they'll be doing is ending up making a part kind of like this. We've got 2 chemical components that get mixed together and react, and when they're reacting, they're filling this mold under, which is sealed up until the reaction causes the foam to expand enough to fill and solidify. Okay. These students right here, which are doing the 2 foam types of work today, are getting ready to make basically polystyrene or styrofoam expandable foam bead molds products, and at this point they're just measuring out their polystyrene bead and putting it into one of a couple molds. As soon as they're ready, and the mold is tightened up so that it will contain the foam as it's expanding, they'll put that into a pot of boiling water and wait for about 10 minutes for that to fill, and then cool it down, and should be solidified. The expansion and the pressure from that will cause it to all to bond. So that's those guys.
So you just take out the mold and then...
Okay. And we'll switch over. June can show you about hot dip casting. This is a heated mold that's going into a vinyl plastisol liquid as it's beginning to get coated. It'll be in there for about 90 seconds, and then he'll lift it back up and let the excess drip off and put it in an oven, basically to make little coin purses. The students are timing, and so they'll be making about 4 of these.
Yeah.
Let's get them over here. We're going to place them inside.
So it's single coating, so once like dripping is pretty much done, then can you open the and then you can. What was it? Yeah, big 4.
Those beads explain that.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Fills up the entire room.
Here's the bringing a smaller long sleeve shirt than the short sleeve shirt you were wearing.
Hanging out.
Yeah, I'll run that.
Okay, now we're off to
So
the
you guys get very nice thing.
expanding phone. I told them to keep me out of this, so I didn't want to scare off new recruits. Just please stay here.
So you will.
Now, I need 2 people heavily involved with this. One, to weigh out the chemicals, the other to man the mold. Okay, the molds, make sure there is no debris on this part line. Scrape it off with, well, it's not here. So, so at least use your fingernail, and then Who is going to, okay, glove on each hand, please.
Thank you.
The reason we're wearing gloves is because this chemical has some nasty stuff in it. You don't want to touch it.
It's always good to know.
Well, we'll talk more about the nasty stuff later.
I used to work in a sheet metal factory. See what
Yeah. See how they go together? This notch, where's the other notch? Which is top, which is bottom now? I didn't hear your head rattle. Where's top?
This is top.
Okay, make sure it's clear. You got to make sure that vent. Okay, start from this side. First scrape it, then poke it. That vent has to be clear. We don't care if there's junk inside. Okay. Please turn. Now, the reason we're using this process, you want to generate very little, as little waste as possible. The EPA does not like to see it in the landfill. So we're going to use a process that generates the least amount of waste. Okay. Weigh out. Do you remember how many grams you have to weigh out?
It was
The ratio is 45 to 50.
Yeah,
60
60
total. So let's go
45 to
15. Now there's a residual amount in there, but it's going to cancel out. So measure out 15 of part A. It pours like water and it pours fast. So. Better pour some back. That's a little too much. What happens is if we keep that amount and make the ratio proper, when we pour it in the mold, it will expand to the point where
If there's something I should see that's happening.
close up the lid, please.
Sorry.
Okay, set that little cup aside. 15 point, set it aside.
15.9.
Oh, that's something I should have had done.
Okay. So if you already got some of the hot dip, right? So there's getting a second round going. We could scoot you over to see rotational molding. So. Okay. Okay. Oops. Hold on.
15.993.
Okay, so what's getting made here is they're getting their basically their powder, high density polyethylene powder measured out. It's going into a mold, and the mold has to be coated with mold release to help the product come out at the end. This is our rotating mold. Yeah, so this is what we're going to make. And this one hasn't been cleaned up, so you can see the edge at the parting line from the mold. Once they get all their powder measured out and into the container, which is then they'll be going into this oven, and yeah, so you can see they're at it right now. Okay, and this is the challenge part. So like, how do you control that much powder into that? Okay, and do you guys have some place to write down, because you won't be able to get it all in one round without overloading? Do you have that red container?
He was cleaning it out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't dump it in. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And
You zeroed the cup, right?
Okay, this is not quite as exciting as you might hope, but they're trying to get about 160 or 70, somewhere in there, grams of HDPE powder and end up with a little ball. Okay, we also have some blow molding unprocessed right now, if we can get you through. Okay, so this is a process where the students are going, basically there's a little extruder where plastic pellets are going down from that blue container into a rotating feed screw where they get extruded out. I'm going to say probably, actually, you'll watch your head. This is hot. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, come on through. Okay, so basically they just close the mold and we'll make them do another one because it doesn't take that long. And there's 3 of you anyway, right? So you each need your own. Okay, so basically this is the end product, which is just a little bit too hot to do much with now, but, oh, you got it, okay. So if I can get you guys to make one more for our lovely viewing audience. Okay, so we're starting out, this just turned on the rotating feed screw where essentially a tube of plastic is getting extruded out. It's called a parison, and they're going to let it go down until it gets beyond the base of the mold and close it up and inflate it basically. So this is extrusion blow molding. It's kind of the least controlled of the blow molding techniques. Okay, looks like you probably could go ahead and close it. All right, and we inflate now. Okay, air pressure is off. Open her up, and yes, you were successful. Okay. And then after it cools down the rest of the way, then they'll trim off the flash and have their little valves. Okay. All right, yeah, and it looks like we need to put some more colorant in there, but you can see the yellow has just about run out that used to be mixed in. Okay, go ahead and close. Both hands. You need 2 hands. 2 hands. Okay, and just inflating the plastic now. And I think you have a hole, so. It sounded like it, yeah. It sounded like you had a leak. Oh, maybe okay. Never mind. So yeah, so we can, if we put about 3 to 5% maximum of little colorant things in there, we can get it fully solid. Oh, babies. Yes, yes. Safety first, though we're ignoring that. Sorry, audience. Okay, all right, so guys, thank you. And let's see, what's your next station? Compression, okay. And you got checked off on your mask or not? Okay, yeah. Make sure you do that first because it's critical you get exactly the right amount. Okay. So let's see. Looks like we might be ready to go back to just about ready for rotation to get exciting again, or interest. So, and again, watching heads. I'm gonna try to move that out of it. Oh, I see the problem. Let's just move the whole stand. Let's scoop that back some. No. Okay. Can you get that for me? Okay. Not a lot better. All right, so you guys, okay, so right now the mold is getting sealed up. Somebody needs to have gloves on. The yarn gloves. Okay, you'll want to use, there's some yarn gloves that will be a lot easier to work with, maybe right down there. You'll see them. Okay, you see in there, the things are lined up right, so the wider end will go at the bottom, the little end has to fit at the top, and this is where you make your adjustments. Okay.
Does this need to be like super tight, like make sure it's all?
I would give it, get it snug at least, maybe just slightly beyond snug, but not cranked.
Okay.
You're making sure your powder stays in, so, and you're gonna have to open it up afterwards. Okay, so at this point, he's got the gloves, so you can go ahead and open the door. It's going to be hot there as well, not burning hot necessarily, but okay, you have to rotate. Okay, rotate a little more and see if you can open it now. Not quite. There we go. Okay, now, yeah, so big end at the bottom, small end gets tightened. Yeah, so this looks like it, yeah, you're close. There you go. Tighten her up.
Okay, let's sit down.
It should be tight enough that it won't fall out. It doesn't have to be super tight. Okay, we'll close her up. Okay, lock it in. Okay, get your motor started. So flip. Okay, go ahead and get that started and start your timer.
The speed needs to be 65%.
Actually, we want it as slow as it can go.
Okay.
Mike worked on it so it can run slower. It used to be 65 was as low as we could get. Ideally, we'd do about 25%.
Okay.
So, yeah. So watch it. Make sure that it doesn't stop rotating. I mean, you don't have to watch it all the time, but check it every 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Okay, and then you're off to vacuum thermoforming? Yep. Okay. A little bit of, so when you're doing that, you're going to be, just basically we need to get one of the knives to score this, to go all the way across and then halfway to get that. Plus you'll need to do at least one, preferably two of the hips. So this is PLA, this is our the plant-based plastic. It is not really recyclable. So this one will end up in the trash unless you want to put it in your garden. So, okay. So the other stuff, put it in recycling.
So wait, what size is this?
So just, yeah. So you could back up a little bit if you want, if you can. Okay, or move the board. Yeah. Okay. So so go ahead and get, basically go enough to get the one square out or rectangle out at least. Okay, and it's not super precise really because the edges are all going to be scrap. Yeah, just kind of run along the line with that. Okay, and I'm going to say go ahead and Yeah, go ahead and get this one. Okay, and make sure you're not running into your neighbor there. Okay, should be able to bend it up here then. And see if it'll pop out. I'm going to say it's not popping, so maybe one more pass.
Okay.
Not just, come back with the knife if you need to. Watch your fingers. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Just go ahead and, okay. So you're going to be putting that, check your process instructions, but basically this is going to be over here. It has to be big enough that the lid will seal it, so you should be fine. Okay. So you're on your therm.
You need 2 of these?
So probably, but let's kind of get started at it first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can just move your board around so you can kick the rest of the way across.
Okay.
Okay.
So line these 2. So select one each.
Okay, and you're just going to do 2 hips because of picking up the extra PLA. So.
Okay.
So we've got the 30 and 60 over there.
Double check when you put this in.
So you put that in, yep. You good? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay, I encourage you to read all the way through on the instructions this time because there's a couple places that could be a little tricky. Okay, yeah, so the hips will be, also. So you'll do this several times. So why don't you go ahead and close the top. Make sure that it's staying over the mold fully. Okay, then get your heat on over there. And this isn't very scientific, but you'll just use this to check how soft it is. That's the pliable. Check around the edges. The pressure should we haven't turned it on yet. So let's get that turned on so it can build up. Okay. Oops. We should be doing tank. Okay, so basically we're already warmed up and we're running to 25 and we've got the heater over that and you're going to go ahead and sort of check on that a little, see if how it's doing around the edges. Okay, so the next, that's probably because it was in the wrong setting. Okay, but anyway, So at this point, we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to have you release the brake and raise up the mold a little bit so it'll seal more tightly. So you switch over to elevator and this guy will start rotating downward. Okay, so you're going to need to grab this and push it up so that you can make, if you're going down, you want to go up. Are you going up? Yeah, so it'll stick. Okay. Okay, so it's up a little bit over the edge of the wood, not the top wood, but the bottom wood. Okay, then lock your brake. Okay, we're going to go ahead and switch over to mold vacuum, and this may be kind of silly because it's already been applied, but you may have just put a hole in it and had a funny squeal. Hey, it's the first round, and it's practically good. It might be perfect, we don't know. Okay. Okay.
And then, all right. And to
Okay,
compress it.
so we want to remove the heater, which means just rotate out of the way. Okay.
And then our gauge is right here. And yeah, 6,000 psi. Just right there.
Probably good enough. Disengage vacuum, so switch over to tank. Should doesn't really matter because you're going to do several more. Okay. Okay, so this guy comes back down. Probably plenty, so. Okay. Okay. Oh, we didn't do anything to speed up the cooling. Out we go. Okay. Nobody's gonna. Alright, so this is our first thing. And it's so if you can see in there, there's little holes where the vacuum is drawn, basically. Other thing to note, if we'll talk about this, so this is vacuum thermoforming, this is the pressure thermoforming. We've got a pressure tank on here. For this thin material, which is easily molded, it isn't important, but if we had something like it's just kind of like blowing a balloon and you stretch it out before you do anything. So we could have pressurized before we draw the vacuum. Okay. So
What's the pressure doing? Like, where is it going?
So the pressure, there's a pressure in the tank, and basically, when we raise up that mold, we're sealing it, and then basically just sucking all the pressure out. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you want to do. You can do another one of these if you want, and you can, definitely do one of each of those. Okay. All right.
This says maybe we could use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more pellets.
Okay, and over here you're at 4 more minutes or 4.5 minutes, so you're doing fine.
Or let it soak a little longer. The parameters are hot water and time. The mold cannot be made of wood or plastic. Heat has to be able to transfer to the pellets.
Again, you want this to go as slow as we can let it go. I think so you heat up the, so the heat is already turned on.
Okay.
It's the heat, yes, so now it's ready for one of your specimens.
But it's manageable.
The probe, even
It's actually surprisingly thick.
I know, yeah, for one dip.
I guess I'll try to take mine out.
Yeah. That shouldn't even make
Okay, so is it heated up enough for that to seal? Okay, yep, good. Okay, so you're going up.
You want to score all the way around the top.
the mold is going up through the plywood, basically into the plastic, so you want to get a seal there.
Oh yeah, that's way worse.
Okay. So you're locked. You're ready for mold.
Then you can put the mold back in. Or you guys can create one more.
Yeah, it's getting off there. That's the hardest part.
Okay, so
I mean,
just
this one-
kinds of things you might be observing. We basically had the mold sort of machined off, so this is relatively smooth on this side. This is so you can see some
This
of the
stuff is
kinds of
open
textures
cell.
and stuff that could be put into it, and you can see basically this is thin enough and that it was heated long enough and all that it conforms really exactly to the mold surface, including being able to see a little bit from essentially where the air is pulled out. For the thin hips, you'll see a lot of the same detail. For the thicker hips, not as much.
Okay.
And you do have to, on the thicker one, definitely give it more time to warm up.
Okay.
Okay, and right now you're go back to tank. Yep.
Turn on the cooling fan, gentlemen.
Say, which it's probably fine. But yes, if you're ready to pop the
Once you
lid.
determine it's frozen, you may shut the vacuum pump off.
Oh, we already.
Lift the lid.
Say,
Lift the lid. Remove the product. Flip the product over. You have sharp, well-defined corners. You have a well-formed part.
yeah. Yeah, so so you want to look at that and kind of match it up to what you have with your PLA.
So you're not supposed to see as much, right?
Probably not quite as much, and you can see that you did raise the mold a little bit higher. Okay. I would say, let's see.
Does not look too good.
Yeah, a little more detail potentially. You definitely can see better detail with the PLA. And so go with the one more thickness. And this time pretend it's going to be a bathtub. Or,
We gotta do that.
oh yeah, take a break. Okay, this one you definitely need your gloves. Yes, okay. And June, I don't know if we had gotten around to telling you, don't have them run water over it right away. Let them cool it down first so it won't warp.
So the rotational speed was the
Yeah, yeah, 50% of the maximum, which I think is probably like 1800 RPM, but I'm not really sure. Okay. Okay, guys, so go ahead and what you're gonna do is loosen that one, yep. And when you get it out, hold it by the tabs instead of the circle part of the sphere. Any of the 4 tabs. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Basically, it's less material there and it'll be cooler. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take that over to the eye wash stand and just kind of let it do some cooling off. Watch out, John. Okay. 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 So in your instructions, it says to like pour water on it, but you're just going to set it in here for now. And we are going to let it cool mostly on its own. We'll give it maybe 5 minutes and then see if it feels reasonably okay to touch. If not, then we'll put some water on there. If we cool it down too fast, it'll basically warp. Yeah, yeah. And so it won't be our lovely ball, it'll be a lovely dented thing. So, okay.
And then there is 1 centimeter for 10 millimeters.
I don't think we've heard the stations over in the corner.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so I think that means compression molding, guys. Okay, so part of what's happening, how's that going? Okay, so there for compression molding, there is some bakelite powder, which is one of our thermosets, and getting measured out. It'll go into a mold, and your mold is getting cold right now, I might mention, which isn't good. So you may want to give it a little bit more time than the instructions say. Okay, so you want to try to quickly get your material spread out in the mold. Okay, the product they're going to end up with is a coaster like this. Okay, you ready? This is the exercise challenge. After we get it, it won't seal all the way. Just lift it up, stick it in the mold. In the machine. And then you're going to crank that up to 6,000 psi for your pressure. That will take care of any squeezing you couldn't do. Okay, there we go. You're going to basically, when you squeeze it, give it about 8 seconds. And you guys have been through this already, right? So I don't really need to give you all the details, but about 8 seconds on, and then you let it, basically you kind of let the gases escape, and then back up to 6,000 psi. Yep. Okay, back up, and then you start your timer. If it's not going up, then you need to go back to the little switch part and lock it a little bit. Tighten this more if it's not going up. Okay, now go with the 6,000. It should. Okay, there you go. Keep going. This is where you get strong. This is where we appreciate automation. All right, 2 minutes of waiting now. Okay, do you want to show off your part while you're at it? Okay.
It's thermoset plastic, so it's hard. And it won't not affected by heat.
Yeah. So, not that, you don't need that from Starbucks or whatever, but there's times when having a coaster is a good thing. So, as things are, so there's basically a lot of this now, we're at the cleanup stage, make the product spiffy. So there's our blow molded bottles once the flash has been removed, and the compression molded coaster is on its way out. Mold just came down. Okay, and we got the challenge of removing the mold or opening the mold. Yeah, this works pretty well to get it started. Yeah, it's pretty loose now. Okay. If you need to, pick it up with one of the handles to put it at a little bit of an angle, and then gravity should help pick the whole mold. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Okay, now you should, except for the gloves, it will be easy to pull out. Yeah. So, all right.
Put the
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah. So yeah, we want to keep the mold warmed up. Okay. So that should be ready for the next round. You'll just do a little cleanup around the edges, and you'll be good. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna switch you around to injection molding then. Okay. So.
Once the blood is coming out, the mold is finished out. After that,
So how many do we get in doors?
I mean, you guys can try like other type of mold. I mean, make as many as you can. And then one thing you guys have to do is like let it cool it enough, and then take it out.
Cut it off.
And before you cut it off, you guys need to measure the total, and then total weight of this mass, and then once you cut it off, measure it again, so you guys can measure the waste. So you got the concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What scale do we use for that?
Oh, this is
Okay,
yeah, right there. So it's gram.
Okay.
And but this spacer is for the
Yeah,
Purdue
that one I
P
would
mold.
go not-
For other molds, have different ones. Maybe thicker one has a like thinner spacer.
All right. So you're gonna predict.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just with the PLA, it has a really low melting. So if it could form at low temperature, then we could.
Some of the people. I mean, I have a YouTube, but it doesn't have any concept. What is it?
So are the process very good? What are the processes?
Yes, we're still pretty hot.
So what materials do I?
It's like I'm saying, it's much
Okay. So did you guys see where to check the pressures you're using? Okay. Yeah.
Another one is just the melt temperature.
Yeah, cooling time is important. So, if one of you wants to come on over to the sink with me from your group, and we'll.
So I got gloves.
No, we should be okay. Well, actually, it won't hurt to have the gloves, but if it's, If you still need gloves, it's probably too hot.
Should I just take?
Take a glove, sure. It can't hurt. The main thing is we don't want the gloves to get wet because then they'll be really conductive.
Okay.
So, yeah. So let's see how this feels. Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of water on this to let it kind of start cooling down. Of course, that makes a mess, but at this point, if you put the gloves on, we'll just let it drip off a little bit more. It's warm, definitely, but it's not burning hot.
Okay.
So
should I grab from the sides?
Yeah, just grab the sides.
All right.
And we'll take that on over to the same station right next to the oven for rotational molding.
Screw off.
Yeah, and let's just go ahead and we'll do a little bit of drying. So you should be okay with but yeah, just, okay, go for it. And of course you've got these guys you may need to work together. Okay.
You need to calculate the
Okay, now you may have to use the putty knife basically to get it apart. I'd say if one of you is holding on to the, yeah, there you go. Okay. And you may have to flip it, so, yep, you got it. Good deal. All right.
Now what?
Now what? Now you have a ball. And it looks like you have a little bit of flash, but not much. So you can try to trim that off if you want.
What's that from? Like?
Just the parting line from the two pieces of mold.
Okay.
So you'd ask about really cranking it. Well, depends partly on if the surface is super clean on each side of the mold and really, really smooth, then you'll get and then it's clamped well, then you'll get very little of that. And that's not very much, so.
Okay.
In terms of what happens after this, then you can see a lot of the students are beginning to go through their post-lab questions and trying to make sense of what they've done. And so immediately they'll do that. Then out of the 8 different products they'll make over the next 4 weeks, they'll pick 2 of those to basically do a quality inspection, do some evaluation on what they could have done with their process to end up with a better product, whether that means, if they didn't get quite enough material in there, if it was a little bit too hot, so they ended up with a little bit of burn kind of damage, whatever it happens to be. That's kind of the follow-up steps here.